This program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Welcome into another exciting episode of Real Biz. I'm your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today from Shattered Ceilings Management and Eternal Perceptions Photography and Video, welcome in David Relano. David, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
It's absolutely my pleasure. You're kind of part of the family at this point. I know this is our first time meeting face to face, but been following you and the crew and everything that you guys have been doing. Before we get into everything that's happening right now with everything, I would love to get a little bit of your backstory.
I was born and raised in Tampa, Florida. I owned a landscaping company from when I was 17, and I sold that, went to the Army. I was a finance manager in the Army for 6 years. Got out, went back to Florida, started another landscape business, and then sold that in the next year and moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee, because I love the area from commuting back and forth from Fort Campbell, Kentucky to Tampa, Florida. You have to pass through Chattanooga, and then that's where I just ultimately ended up residing. I've been the owner of Boot and Heel, which was like the second largest merchandiser for independent wrestlers. I don't know. I've had a crazy journey, man. Life's been good, and now I'm in the music industry, which I'd rather go mow yards, man.
So many parallels. My dad's run a landscaping company my entire life, so I grew up digging ditches for sprinkler lines. Laying sod, humping sod around. Don't miss it one bit. I was born just outside of Chattanooga in Sewanee, Tennessee. That's where my dad went to school at the University of the South. So ties to the area that you live in now. My family, a lot of my family moved from the Chicago area down to Fort Myers. So ties to, around the Tampa Bay area. And,
right.
Also have a wrestling show on our sports network, and work very closely with Below Zero Wrestling out here. They're in North Dakota. We're in South Dakota, but Midwest. Okay. Beautiful, great thing that he's got going on up there. So yeah, a lot of things we could cover and overlapping territory in our lives. Obviously, Real Biz and a lot of what the Scene Project is focused around the music business, and that's kind of how we connected. Is your current role, managing artists, and obviously a lot of your photography and video now is centered around that music business. How did you fall into it? It seems like you didn't really, are you an artist yourself?
I made like beats for rappers like when I was a teenager in like my early 20s. I had a couple features on some like local rappers' songs and stuff, but I really never pursued it as a career. It was more of like I had like this kind of like hidden talent that artists could benefit from. So I collaborated in a very hobbyist fashion. But I've always like loved music. Like, I guess you could say I had like a somewhat of a traumatic childhood, and music was like really a way that I coped with like abusive step parents and a dad that suffered from mental illness, and just the way he behaved and treated my mom was kind of like, I didn't know how to handle it at that young of an age. So like my first band that I like fell in love with, and I'm kind of like, I try not to get political, but they did, was Stained. So like Break the Cycle album and like the song Mud Shovel was like, it was like a way for me to be angry in my mind and like let it out without bringing it to the surface, like that anger to the surface. And and that's like when I fell in love with music, because I saw it as like an escape and a way to vent without the world knowing that I'm like suffering. like behind closed doors. So I think I've always had, and then it converted into rebellion because my mom did not agree with me being 12 years old listening to rap music. And you know how when you're like a teenager and stuff, it's like what you tell me not to do, I'm going to like more. So like I remember my first album that I bought was like the Young Bloods Drinking Partners album with that damn song on it, and the G Unit Beg for Mercy album at like 13 years old. So it was just like a rebellion, and then I just fell in love with the music and the it wasn't just all angry music. Some of it was positive, some of it was motivational. So whereas to rock was my like anger outlet, hip hop and rap was like my conscious or motivation to get off my ass and go do something with my life music. And then I just attached to hip hop. Like I started making beats for rappers and stuff. And I was in a Christian rap group at one point in life, which is hard to believe. So like I just clinged to the hip hop, and then being raised in the South, you just naturally got into the trap world, and I just have a very fond respect for that genre, and I'm a little biased towards it, but um yeah, that's how that's how
Yeah, so while music never was the main thing like it is now, it's always kind of permeated your whole life. It's always been there, you know, whether it's been, you know, making beats or just being, you know, a friend when you needed it, that it's been around. And I was very fortunate in my life. My my mom's brother, when I think when I was maybe like 13 years old, he got me 3 albums, either 3 CDs for Christmas in my stocking. It was Dr. Dre's The Chronic, Limp Bizkit's $3 Bill, y'all, and Metallica Black. And you know, exposure to great music, which I'd grown up with great music. Obviously, a lot of classic rock in the home. You know, my mom had the Led Zeppelin anthology, right, with all the different albums in it early on. My parents were big Deadheads. My dad loved, you know, early, I guess, metal, Judas Priest and the Scorpions and all that stuff, and growing up on the radio. So a lot more in the rock world, but then getting exposed to hip hop and that side of things. When we moved out to South Dakota, obviously, I didn't start listening to a lot of country ever until really I got together with my wife, and then getting exposed to country later in life was like, oh, why wouldn't I like I love bluegrass music. Why wouldn't I
yeah,
like Alan Jackson? Right? Like it's all
yeah,
the same instruments. Maybe it's a little different, you know, kind of context to a lot of things. But as a musician myself, right, a guitar player, I can respect musicianship in whatever genre it happens to be in. I don't listen to a lot of heavy metal, but I listen to these guys completely shred a fretboard apart, and I'm like, respect. Not my style of music that I like to and enjoy to listening to, but mad respect for people that can play like that.
right. And that's the same thing, like along lines of like me managing artists. It's like Rick Rubin said, I don't know how to play an instrument. I don't know how to run a soundboard, but I trust my decision making on what I think sounds good. And I know if a pedal steel guitar sounds good, and I know if an 808 on a hip hop beat sounds good, or the melodies are on time or in the right key. Like I might not know the scientific terms behind what I'm listening to, but I can tell if that's a hit or not. And I think that kind of advice and stuff has really helped the artists that I manage create their sound and be more consistent with their sound to where, like we were talking about, it's like you got to know that that's that person in the first 3 seconds of seeing their video. Well, you got to know that that's that artist in the first 3 seconds of you listening to the song. So, like a Metro Boomin song, you can tell by his beat style, of the way he creates and produces his records. You press play, you know that's a Metro Boomin beat. You know that's a Migos beat, or you know that's a Drake song. So, really nailing down your sound is part of your whole image and brand as an artist. Even if you're a feature on someone else's song, when someone listens to the first 3 seconds of your verse, they know that you're the feature on there. So branding is really important, and developing all the peripheral ways you work and operate and sound like really matters because it all ties back to the nucleus of you as the artist.
Yeah, and audio branding, digital branding, it's so much more than just a logo, right? It almost has almost nothing to do with a logo. Now your logo and your, words and the names of your songs and your albums and things can't be completely off the wall from that, but they're really secondary to the visual and audio storytelling, especially for a musical artist.
Correct. And there's ways to develop and to grow or experiment with keeping your roots of what you're known for or who you are. Some people just experiment too much because they don't know who they are or what their sound is yet. So it's like, whoa, like what are we doing? You're like all over the place here. So building that foundation is really important. And it's okay to change your style. It's okay to mature. It's okay to get older and wiser and kind of be like, hey, I'm not that artist anymore. I've grown. But when you grow, your audience has grown too. That's why, like, whenever you like listen to Ice Cube now, he's like in Disney movies. Like, he's still a gangster from back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, he just got older, and so did he. So did his audience. His audience grew with him, so he can do that. You can't be talking about drill rap at 23 years old and then on the Disney Channel at 25. So you gotta pick and choose like how you want to grow or what image you're trying to portray or who you really are. Is like you just got to be consistent in the beginning, especially while you're trying to build your fan base. Because if you just everywhere, people don't know how to consume you or what they're consuming of you because it's just so scattered.
No, and someone like you with the mind that you have, is so important to musicians these days because an artist just wants to be an artist. They want to create and they want to do that. And it's like, yeah, great, but you have to do all these other things. No label is coming around to do all these things for you. Like those days are long gone. Nobody's trying to sign you and develop you. You have to develop yourself. And without having someone, and I think I struggle with this a little bit, without someone not necessarily above you, but beside you
Mm-hmm.
to kind of say, hey, we need to be looking at it from this angle. I think these are the things that we could do. A trusted partner, right? A Rick Rubin, but not necessarily in the recording studio, outside of the studio, helping you with the rest of the things is just as important as having Rick, next to you, standing at the board saying, hey, try it this way. And yeah, shout out to Rick Rubin. Freaking love the guy.
He's awesome.
Love his tetragrammaton. His podcast is just incredible. I've been on and listening to it for over a year now when there was like less than 1,000 people subscribed on the YouTube, which is just bananas to me with a guy with that much knowledge and having these high level conversations. And to know, I mean, I read his book too. Did you read The Creative Act?
I have not.
You check it out, man. It's an easy read because it's broken up into a lot of small chunks. It's not a front to back reader. It's a lot of just like excerpts and stuff, but a nice one to have on the shelf, even if you don't carry a lot of books.
Yeah, I don't really educate myself in books these days. Like I am a very like I started a landscaping business at 17 years old, and in year two I had over 600 clients. I am a trial by fire. As long as the roots of my character are integrity, honesty, and transparency, then I think everything else is a learning experience of what works for you. And just because it works for somebody else doesn't mean it works for you. And I think that's a common misconception, like with a lot of people that just like go to YouTube and look up motivational or look up manager secrets and stuff like that. It's like the ones feeding you the information are only giving you enough to fail. And I learned that in combatives in the Army, where there's level one combatives, level two combatives, level three combatives. Level one, they tell you, don't go out and pick fights after you graduate level one because we're only teaching you enough to get your ass whooped. So if you go to level two, you're still getting more confidence, but getting your ass whooped. And then level three is like, all right, this is the advanced, like this is like, but you have to do one and two on your own before they teach you the secret sauce. So I think that happens a lot in life where why are you selling programs? Like you're only giving enough advice for them to still be better than you. And they're not going to tell you all their secrets. They'll give you like some surface level intelligent things, but the real ways of how they operate, they're not going to tell you, because those are the scars and bruises and blood and sweat and tears that got them where they're at. And they're not going to sell that on Amazon for $14.99. You know what I'm saying? So I think my experience and my life experience of trauma, tragedy, prevailing, and stuff like that, I think I'm a very good judge of character. I think I know who to trust and who not to trust, and to put my team in positions to win based off my past experience of like recognizing toxic behaviors in people and stuff like that, that is really beneficial. And that's experience you can't get out of a book. And my team trusts me with that. And I was transparent when I started this management company 2 years ago. I don't know what I'm doing. I was a finance manager in the Army. I own my own businesses. I know how to market. I know how to brand. I know how to build impactful relationships. But I don't know anything about the music business. I
I
can just
think in
promise you
some
that
ways
you're not going to.
that makes you better at it than people who have been entrenched in the music business, because you don't have any pre-qualifications. And without
Correct.
reading the book, you summarized it almost perfectly, because that was pretty much all that's in it. It's like, look, doesn't work, go back and try again. And even if it didn't work, doesn't mean that it was the wrong thing. It might have just been the wrong time, and it might have been, but you're never going to become a good judge of character if you don't get out there and fail, but fail forward.
Yes. Yeah. And just be there's the industry's missing integrity right now. So when you come in with integrity, people, even people that are established in the industry, are just always looking around for the snakes and keeping their grass low. When you come in as someone that might not know everything, and they know what you know and what you don't know, and I know what I know and don't know, and I'm not hiding the fact that I have a lot of answers, but there's a lot of answers I don't have. But when you operate with integrity and you like help others win to help you win, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, oh man, I remember when I first started in this business, that's how I was. And now after all these bad deals and all these people that move weird, I have had to get normal to moving around weirdos. And then it's like, dude, like, you're awesome, dude. Like, I got introduced to UMG as like, hey man, this is one of the best managers I've ever met in a while. And here's his artist. He's like on the edge of success. Like, he just needs a little bit more development, and he'd be label ready artist. And the UMG rep that was there asked the artist, well, who's your team? And Jaron was like, dude, my manager is my videographer, my social media manager, my photographer. He's in the car with me down here in Atlanta from Chattanooga. He's networking and hooking me up with Birmingham and Nashville and stuff. He's like, that's all you need. If that is your team, only you and one other dude, and it's gotten you this far, that's your team. And sometimes less is more in this industry. When you've got a lot of people in the circle or in the camp, and they just offer a little bit here and a little bit there, but you got your core people that are really doing the thing, that little guy that doesn't do anything feels probably more entitled to the guy that you're actually in the trenches with, just because he's like on the side. Oh, I bought a ticket to your event 2 years ago. Like, I'm on the team. Like, come on, no, man. That's the one, whenever you make it, expects you to go buy him a G-Wagon or something, bro. Like, nah, like, you got to really identify your core pieces. And it could be one person, it could be 5 people, it could be 10 people. But you really have to, in the beginning, my advice is to artists, cut the diseases out of your circle as soon as possible, because either one, they're dragging you down, or two, they're waiting for you to succeed so they can piggyback off of it. And if you can identify, yo, man, you move a little bit weird around me, I just got to separate myself from you while I build my own thing. And usually they never come back because you called their bluff on fake love and support. So I really attach myself and very loyal to the ones that want to see me win, and everyone else, I just like, dude, you're an anchor. Like, you just want something for nothing. And I'm not scared to let people know that I see you as um, a leech.
Yeah, if you ain't rowing, you ain't on the boat at this point.
Yeah.
You know, with
Go work on yourself, and whenever we're on the level playing field, then we might collaborate. But man, like Lil Wayne said, there's no sitting at the table if you're bringing nothing to it. So
yeah, no,
that's
feel that. Feel that, because we bring a lot, right? Guys like you and I, with the experience that we have in this industry, we bring a lot to the table, and we know our worth, and we know where we're going and where we can take other people. It's very clear now. And, you know, I've made plenty of bad judgment calls. I've believed a little too hard in people. As someone who's been, done some prison time, and I try to see the best in people, right? I don't look at your past and assess you over that, but sometimes your past is because you just continue to make bad choices, right? And I changed my life. I'm where I'm at now because of the choices that I've been making, not what my past was. So yes, I can forgive your past, but I'm also looking at the last 12 months of your decisions and going, yeah, we're not the same. Right? Like we are not the same. And I can't afford to tie any kind of anchors to me right now, because we got dreams of hitting the stratosphere and going way beyond it. Right. So I can't have anything weighing me down. No drag.
Correct. All gas, no brakes. And sometimes that no to those people reveals their own motivation and their own hustle. Every time I was told no, I went harder. Every time, like even from landscaping, this customer doesn't want me to cut their grass or plant their trees or whatever. Let me go find a richer customer to replace them. Or what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong to that these people aren't choosing me? And it could be as little as my truck needed a paint job. If you go into these elite neighborhoods, they're really aesthetic and keeping up with the Joneses. Or maybe my prices are too high.
Maybe the prices are too low.
Correct. You're not establishing value because they're saying, hey, if I'm getting it cheap, I'm probably getting cheap crap or cheap service or cheap whatever. So your price could scare them if it's too low, because it's like, dude, I know what it takes for you to do this, and you're only charging that. Like, you're not going to show up next week, like, or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, you have to give the perceived value of what you're doing, and until you get to the point where your name is in rooms that you're not in a good way, because you could be blackballed and you could be. I just want people to talk good about me when I'm not around, and I'm not scared to be like, yo, David's a jerk and he doesn't tolerate BS. That's you thinking you're insulting me, but that's a compliment. That you're telling people that you can't screw me or you can't try to finesse me. Like, that's a compliment to me, even though you're like, hey, that dude's hard to deal with. So it's all balances out. And I think work ethic, integrity is really what's missing from the industry. So if you bring those two things to the table, you can go a lot further than 80% of your peers alone.
Great advice to finish off the show with, man. David, where can everybody find you, and where can they get in touch with you if they're down there? I know you're probably not taking on a huge list of artists right now, as much as you love being in the music industry. Yeah, where can people get in touch with you and find some of your work?
So I'm the man behind the curtain. I really don't do this. But my artist, Jerry and Green, he's at Jerry and Green official at Jerry and Green official is all his links: YouTube, Spotify. At Jason Lyles Music is a rock band that I manage. You can check them out. JasonLylesMusic.com, LYLES for Lyles. Vic Burgess, singer songwriter, I manage him. You can find him under Vic Burgess. Charlie Ross, managing Hour Late. They used to open for Seven Dust and Collective Soul. They're making a comeback. So at Hour Late Band. In my company, Shattered Ceilings Management or Eternal Perceptions Photography. I don't do this for my own glorification. I want my artist on their platform and all the glory and stuff like that. So like I appreciate you want me to shout myself out, but my job's to shout them out.
I love it, man. You shout out whoever you want to, man. That's your moment. David Relano,
Oh,
thanks.
Vanilla Strange too. I almost forgot. At Vanilla Strange, Vinilla. So
There you go. Well, get them all, man. I hope we get a chance to work together when we're out on our songwriter showcase tour. Stick around for a few minutes with me. I'd like to talk to you off camera, but I'll let you get out from the bright lights of the podcast
hey,
now.
and shout out Joseph Meadows, Wi-Fi
My
from
guy.
Clarksville, Tennessee, for hooking this up too. I got to shout out my boy. He's been a day one supporter and collaborator. So much love to him too.
Hey, likewise, man. Wi-Fi means a lot to me, and I'll be spending a lot of time with him here in the month of March. So
He's a good person
hopefully,
to be stuck with.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, hopefully, we still like each other by the time we make it to ATL. Appreciate you, David. Thanks for being part of the
Much
scene,
love.
brother.
Thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate you, Bubba.
Imagine capturing the raw essence of nature, with its infinite color and beauty. Now, envision turning that into something truly transformative. Pure and easy tea cultivates the goodness of nature's bounty into fuel for your body. We are what we drink. Pure and easy tea, the pure nourishment your body craves.